Welcome to InspiredScripture.com, where we break down the key lessons of every chapter in the Bible to make them relevant to you. In this video, we'll be talking about Job chapter 32, which we've titled From Elihu's Long Self-Introduction, 7 Signs of a Person Motivated by the Flesh. So let's break it down. Lesson 1, Unloving. Here, Elihu, who was a bystander watching what Job and his friends had to say, burned with anger because Job had justified himself before God. We forget sometimes when we see people speaking amiss that they may be hurting. And Job was someone who was in need of compassion. He had lost 10 of his children. He had lost his health and all of his wealth and the respect of everyone around him for no fault of his own. This was a man who became filled with his flesh and had no love for someone who was hurting. And this is something that we should avoid in ourselves. Lesson 2, anger. Elihu's anger burned not just towards Job, but to the 3 friends of Job because they had failed to respond to Job's statements that he was innocent. We are told in Galatians 6:1 that if someone is amiss and has done something wrong, that we are to rebuke them with gentleness, not with anger. Lesson 3, pride. Elihu said the Almighty himself had given him understanding over the circumstance, and we know this wasn't true. We need to always approach a circumstance with humility. We may be wrong and frequently are. Lesson 4, insecurity. Elihu was just a bystander and by all means was younger than some of the people who were speaking to Job, and he demanded, "Listen to me." His appeals to authority were not based upon the word or the spirit or praying. He was insecure, and this was a sign that he was speaking from his flesh. Lesson 5, impulsiveness. Elihu said, "Should I wait because they stopped and no longer answer?" We are told in Proverbs 29:20 not to speak with hasty words. When we speak with hasty words, we are speaking from the flesh and not from the spirit. Lesson 6, prayerlessness. Elihu said, "For I am full of words. The spirit within me compels me." He was ready to burst because he was so angry at listening to what Job had to say, but he never stopped to pray. We are always called upon to pray before we say words, especially when someone might be hurt by what we're going to say. Lesson 7, narcissistic. Elihu concluded, again without giving any words of advice, by speaking and glorifying himself. He said, "Let me be partial to no one, nor flatter anyone, for I do not know how to flatter." And of course, this was false. We all know how to flatter, and frequently that's how we communicate. The point is that Elihu spent the entire chapter 32 speaking of himself without ever offering a word to Job of either correction or edification. We need to be careful in our own lives when we speak to others, not to glorify ourselves and not to speak from the flesh, even when our motives may be right. So these are the 7 key lessons. If you want to learn more, check out our website at InspiredScripture.com, and please like and subscribe. Thank you.